Yvette Davila is a dangerous beauty with lethal skills.
She was a very gorgeous gal. She had no problem operating the gun. She knew what she was doing.
But once she has a man in her sights,
it got to the point where he considered her a crazy stalker.
I would refer to her feelings towards him as borderline obsession.
he'll quickly realize he's sleeping with the enemy. It's March 1st, 2008, on a quiet suburban street in Tacoma, Washington. At 0500, Army Specialist Yvette Davila reports for duty. She's a soldier trained in chemical warfare. But tonight, Yvette's going rogue. Her secret mission? Revenge. Before Yvette Davila rises through the ranks to become a lethal Army weapon, she is just a timid little girl growing up in Bakersfield, California. Yvette's just 5 years old when her father abandons the family. She fantasizes about the perfect family life she's lacking.
Yvette was a rather shy, awkward girl. She had 2 other sisters, but Yvette tended to play with her dolls by herself. She would play in the closets. She had her own little world going on.
This symbolizes the relationships, the idealized relationships she wanted, that she hoped to have, that she dreamed of having, that she fantasized about having.
When Yvette's mom gets a new boyfriend, he's far from a good father figure.
Are you waiting for me?
Her mother's boyfriend at the time sexually molested her.
This sets the ball rolling for a person who is going to have a difficult time trusting men, may have impaired judgment because her boundaries were violated at an early age by somebody she was supposed to trust.
When she graduates high school in 2004, Yvette enlists in the Army. She's assigned to Fort Lewis to train to be a chemical operations specialist. For the first time in her life, she feels empowered. Shy Yvette slowly comes out of her shell, and her fellow soldiers take notice.
She was a very gorgeous gal, young Hispanic lady. She was pretty quiet at first, but she warmed up very quickly to me and everybody, really. She was super nice and very welcoming.
But Yvette's only interested in one of her fellow soldiers, 25-year-old Sergeant Owen Jenkins, a chemical weapons specialist from Southern California.
He was in a band, and she watched him perform and rehearse. These were all military people, so they had something in common, and they just started hanging out.
After a few months, Yvette finally gets Owen alone, and she makes a major confession.
Can I tell you something?
Sure.
She reveals that she's never kissed a guy, she's never slept with a guy, and he says, "Well, I'll kiss you."
Overcome with lust, Yvette pounces on Owen.
She went from this timid person who had never kissed anybody to somebody who was very sexually aggressive in an instant.
The fact that she's gonna have her first kiss and lose her virginity all in one night with Owen is gonna be significant to her. It's gonna be a milestone, and she's going to interpret that as, this is the person I'm supposed to attach to.
Yvette can't wait to dish the details.
She told everybody what had happened, and he didn't really like that.
Hey, Owen, I want to say, man, you're one lucky guy.
He didn't like the fact that that was out and the rumor mill was going strong about him and her.
She was just dreamy about him. She'd say all kinds of things, that how much she loved him and she missed him all the time. And she kept a photo of him in her wallet and on her phone. She had pictures of him that she'd show us and tell us this is her man.
Yvette is determined to make Owen her boyfriend, whether he wants to be or not. Sexy soldier Yvette Davila has set her sights on Sergeant Owen Jenkins. After a steamy hookup, Yvette has fallen hard for the handsome soldier. Sadly, he doesn't share those feelings.
I would refer to her feelings towards him as borderline puppy love obsession. When it came to romance or anything, everything that she'd talk about would be about him.
Yvette was obsessed with the sergeant. She thought he was just the one she was looking for and would probably do anything to get him.
But in 2006, Owen is deployed to Iraq. Yvette has to put her fantasy on ice. Distracted by his combat duties, his contact with Yvette is scarce.
There would be months they wouldn't even talk, an occasional email or a text here and there, but they weren't in constant contact with each other.
I'm right there with you, baby.
Yvette desperately pines away for her overseas soldier, resorting to strange measures to feel closer to her crush.
So he's overseas, and apparently she wants to experience what he's experiencing, so she sleeps on her hard floor.
Yvette fantasizes about married life with Owen in a familiar way.
As an adult, Yvette plays with dolls. This is infantile, regressed behavior, this playing with dolls. And it represents the fantasies that she's had since she was a child of someday being taken care of and having the family, the male figure in her life that she'd always dreamed of.
When Owen finally returns in January of 2007, Yvette is eager to pick up where she thinks they left off. He enjoys spending time with the brunette beauty, but keeps her at arm's length.
He thought she knew the ground rules. This is not a serious relationship. We're not boyfriend, girlfriend. We're just hooking up occasionally.
He really didn't pay much attention to Davila, and so right off the bat, all of the guys in the office were kind of like, looks like this might be one-sided relationship, because she was head over heels in love with him.
In July, Yvette meets two of Owen's friends, fellow soldiers Randy and Tim Miller, who are expecting their first child together. In Yvette's mind, the Millers have the perfect life.
They had the best relationship.
They'd laugh, make jokes, and poke each other, just fun, young and happy.
There's no way you could break that strength between those two. They loved each other way too much. They just were inseparable.
It's just the sort of relationship that Yvette wants with Owen.
She referred to him as her boyfriend when she'd show us pictures. She was convinced that she meant everything to him and that he meant everything to her, but we were afraid that wasn't the case.
She was coming to conclusions that they were dating, that they were nowhere close to dating.
In October 2007, Owen gets accepted to an elite flight school in Florida, and Yvette gives him a going-away present he'll never forget.
It's moving day, and she was helping him move, and he says she pounced on him. I mean, they still had a sexual relationship, and they hooked up occasionally.
Convinced that Owen will be hers once again when he returns, she falls deeper into an elaborate fantasy, and soon it will take a very dangerous turn. 22-year-old Yvette Davila is obsessed with Sergeant Owen Jenkins.
She still thought they had a future, that he was going to be her guy, and that there was real hope for them when he came back.
When he moves 2,000 miles away for flight school, Yvette makes sure he doesn't forget what he's missing.
She started sending him these texts, these pictures of her in short skirts and high heels. They were sexual. They were attention-getting.
She also starts spending more and more time with his close friends, Tim and Randy Miller.
She pushed herself towards my brother and sister to try to be friends so she can push herself towards him.
And it's one way of maintaining a connection with something physical that represents him. It's like a security blanket.
The happy couple have a new baby girl named Cassidy. Lonely Yvette craves a life like theirs.
They were the perfect family. Sometimes I wonder if she was jealous of them.
They have a relationship. They're very much in love. They live together. They have a child in common. It's everything she wishes she could have with Owen but can't.
I know she tried to contact him a couple times, and he just didn't want to have anything to do with her. She was trying to throw herself at him. She was trying to be someone who she wasn't to him.
It got to the point where he considered her a crazy stalker. You know, she'd put herself in that position where there was no other way she can be viewed but someone that is stalking this man.
To make matters worse, Owen has moved on and has fallen for another woman.
Over the holidays, he went to this new girlfriend's house and met her family and changed his status to saying that he was in a relationship.
Suddenly, Yvette's illusion of happiness with Owen crumbles.
No. No, no, no!
She sees this very public relationship change for him. And this is what set her off. Because she had gotten in trouble for going public about her relationship with him, and now he's doing that with someone else.
The obsession is now going to swirl around jealousy, rage, envy, bitterness. She is in the throes of a developing dark plan to exact her revenge in the most vicious way she can conceptualize.
In her despair, Yvette comes up with a plan to hurt Owen as he's hurt her.
And she wanted to find a way where she could really get him. And if she couldn't get him directly, she would go after someone who he was close to, someone who he'd be hurt if they were hurt.
She sets her sights on Owen's best friends, Tim and Randy Miller.
She wanted him so bad, and he didn't want to have anything to do with her. And that's what she thought of. Well, I have to get back at him somehow. So I will kill them so they can't have him either, if I can't have him.
March 1st, 2008, 0500. Army Specialist Yvette Davila is on a mission to get back at the man who broke her heart by eliminating the two people closest to him, Sergeants Tim and Randy Miller.
She targeted the friends of Owen because she knew that would cause Owen to never forget her.
She enters their home and goes to the bedroom where Randy is sleeping. She shoots her multiple times. Randy Miller never had a chance.
She heads into the bathroom where Tim is in the shower and shoots him 4 times. And he actually still puts up a fight.
No, Yvette, no, please, Yvette.
She shoots him 2 more times, point blank.
She had said that she shot Timothy several times, basically until he stopped making noises.
Within minutes, she has orphaned baby Cassidy. Her mission accomplished, Yvette relies on her chemical expertise to clean up the crime scene.
Yvette puts Randy on a tarp and drags her into the bathroom so both Tim and Randy are in the tub, and pours muriatic acid on the faces of Tim and Randy to disfigure them.
That was a way that she could maybe erase them from existence, maybe her memory, maybe from the police.
Then, in a strange twist, Yvette picks up the miller's daughter from the babysitter and returns to the barracks. Sergeant Aaron Nelson is the first to notice the strange scene.
I kind of just asked her, what's going on? What are you doing? And she said that she was babysitting. It did strike me as strange because the sweet person that Davila was, she wasn't really the one I would trust a kid with.
Sergeant Nelson suspects Yvette is hiding something.
Her demeanor was kind of out there, quite a bit different than it normally is. She was quiet, reserved. She didn't really want to talk about anything.
What's wrong? She's in shock. This is what you would expect when somebody has killed for the first time.
You know you can talk to me about anything.
She finally said, I hurt somebody. And at this point, I was kind of like, what are you talking about? You hurt somebody?
I hurt them bad.
And she said, well, I hurt some people really bad.
I killed them.
Who did?
I killed them. I killed them!
But she had said that she had used her pistol and she had killed them. Kept telling me nobody can find out. I can't tell anybody.
Yvette tells Sergeant Nelson her plan to run away to Mexico and leave the baby at an orphanage.
I said, the only people that can help you right now is the police. We should mind if we call the police? And she said, no, we can't call the police. They can't find out. Nobody can find out.
Hours later, Sergeant Nelson persuades Yvette to turn herself into police. Tim's family learns the horrifying news.
I do remember falling to the ground and screaming. I remember people being at our house. I remember when my kids came home, having to tell them. It was kind of a blur.
I remember my mom saying, Timmy's gone. And I said, what do you mean he's gone? He went back overseas without saying anything. And she's like, no, he's gone. He was killed. I was just so confused. I didn't know what to think. Still to this day, it's not reality to me.
The community reels from this senseless tragedy.
It was a big shock that this small, beautiful girl could actually commit murder and kill somebody.
This was not just a crime of passion. This was a cold-blooded murder. Left a little baby without her mother and father.
Yvette pleads guilty for the murders of Tim and Randy Miller to avoid the death penalty. In court, she apologizes to the families, stating, I have no answer about why I did what I did. I wish I could take it all back.
She had everything going for her. Beautiful girl, bright, a clear future ahead of her. Yet she obsessed about this guy who she was never going to be with and ruined everything else in her path. And she, in the end, didn't even get the guy.
That's what this crime was about. Making sure that he suffered like she believed she'd suffered and that she would never be forgotten. This crime was about Yvette never being forgotten by Owen.
Yvette Davila is sentenced to life in prison without parole and is dishonorably discharged from the Army. Tim's family feels that it is a small price to pay for the lives she destroyed.
She's selfish, and she's a cold, calculating murderer that deserves nothing but to be 6 feet under the ground.
Today, Tim and Randy's daughter lives with her grandparents. She is a bittersweet reminder of the innocent lives Yvette so cruelly ended.
She has her daddy's laugh. She has her mommy's walk. She likes to be the center of attention, like her dad. She's very, very smart, like her mom. But you can see both of them in her so much.
I think Tim and Randy are looking down on Cassidy, making sure she is safe, making sure she is in a good place.